Good morning to the Build Your Best Life family. Today, we are going to dive into the subject of fail forward. This episode of Conversation with the Guys is going to be something very practical, and things and tools will be presented to you in order for you to get on the path of living your best life. I am your host, Derek Durden, the speaker, author, and coach. And with that, I'm going to start off with the familiar faces. We're going to let these guys introduce themselves before we really dive into the topic. We're going to start off with you, Deacon Dan. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a great morning. Great to be here with these guys here today. I mean, they're part of my family, you know, and it's great to know them. Because I'm Deacon Dan Smith, married to the lovely and amazing Coach Deborah Smith. We have 4 kids, 7 grands. I'm currently retired law enforcement after 40 years, but I have 2 other businesses that I operate. So it's been a great life, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Okay, Deacon Dan, just cool, calm, and collective as usual.
Always.
And then next, we're going to go straight to you, Coach.
Oh, okay. Hey, how y'all doing this morning? I'm glad to be here this morning with the young men that's here. I feel that they're part of my family as well. My name is Coach Dr. Kevin Wilbon. I am retired military, 24 years. I'm also a high school basketball and track coach. I'm also an author of 5 books, and I am a motivational speaker. And I'm just so happy to be here today, and I'm ready just to get into this topic.
Sound like you're really ready. You sound like you might have some life experiences to be exposed.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, so we're going to introduce the new kid on the block. Y'all remember that?
New
Some of
kid.
y'all old enough to know who.
Uh, uh,
And so, Jay Mosley, my good friend, a fellow speaker, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jay Mosley, man. I am a author, speaker, mental health and men's self-care advocate, a father as well. I'm so happy to be here with these guys, man. Thank you, Derek, for inviting me, and I can't wait to dive in. Good morning, everybody.
morning.
Hey, good morning.
Okay, you almost sound like you're a professional at this, like just so smooth. Okay. And so I do want to give a shout out to Coach Deborah Smith, who opens this platform up to her audience and to create opportunities for individuals like us to share our perspectives, thoughts, and experiences with the audience. So we're gonna dive right in. The topic today is fail forward. Just to get a little understanding, guys, I want each of y'all to give y'all understanding, y'all thoughts about what failure really is. You can start it off, Jay.
What I believe failure is, I think failure is the roadmap to success. I
Hmm.
believe you have to fail in order to become successful, in order to get things right. Because in order for you to get to the next level, you got to try something, you got to do something, you got to get out your comfort zone. And typically, if you're not knowing anything, there's going to be some speed bumps, it's going to be something that trips you up, it's going to be some type of adversity. So I believe failure is the key necessary to get to the next level, the key to success, failing forward.
Great response. Coach, give us your definition of your ideal about what success is.
Success is reaching a plateau of a goal that you want to attain, and also, staying there. I feel like anybody can reach a goal if they put their mind to it, put time and effort into it. But in order to be successful, you should be able to attain it and be able to maintain it. And so that's what I think success is. But it's a whole lot of definitions that you can use when it comes to success. But I think my number one thing is success is obtaining and maintaining the goal that you set for yourself.
Great. We talked a little bit about failure with Jay. Coach, you gave us a little bit about success. Deacon Dan, tell us how those. together.
Wait a minute. You got cut out until how those two what now compare?
How they relate to each other, success and failure.
Well, I look at failure. It's just a setback.
Hmm.
It's just a slight disappointment. Success is what you learn out of that failure and how got back up and continue what you was trying to do. Uh, One of the things I understand is, out of this, when you fail on something, you be successful because that failure part gonna make you stronger. So once you got that stronger your success, you're gonna be some more successful. So that's what if I compare them that way, I think failure brings a successful ending.
Always bringing that heat, Deacon Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we got the basics, the foundation of what that looks like, I need each one of y'all to, share with us one of your experiences of failure, how y'all bounce back. Coach, you look like you in deep thought, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first.
Okay, the L that I took, the loss that I took, and I bounced back from was when I was young, when I was in high school. I put myself out there and this does relate, although it's about sports, but it does relate. And I actually thought I was like one of the best basketball players, especially, playing point guard in high school and, around, in the area. And, I went out for a high school basketball team and I got cut. And when I got cut, that really did something to me, that humbled me because I felt like, I was like one of the best players there. And I still felt like even after I got cut that I was one of the best players there. But what it did to me, it made me work harder. It made me, do the things that I really need to do in order to, to make the team the next time that I went out. It was a humbling experience, but it made me step back and see that, what, maybe I'm not the best player out there. Maybe it's some things that I need to learn and to grow. And to me, that was a loss because I really felt like I was one of the best out there. And that next year, when I went out for the varsity basketball team, I made that team. And that did something, for me, So that was one of the losses that I took, and I still remember that to the very day. That's why I was in that deep thought because I've always remembered, that was something that humbled me, made me step back, made me research, made me work harder, and that next time going out, I actually, succeeded. So that was one of the losses that I took, and you know was able to overcome and get back.
You sure your name ain't Michael Jordan?
Man, I wish I had Michael Jordan money.
Yeah, because that's very similar to Michael Jordan's story. And one thing that I have known from experience is in our darkest time that we grow the most. It's like us being planted like that seed. The seed can grow unless it's been buried up under the ground into a dark area. And so I totally understand. Like it's those tough times that bring the best out of us. So Jay, go ahead and tell us about the one time in your whole life that you ever experienced failure and how you bounced back from that.
I mean, it was just only one time. You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper, man. The one time, one of the many times I took an L. Um, I was married for 10 years and got a divorce.
Mm.
And during that time, after going through that, understanding as a man, like, you never get into anything to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? You want a successful marriage, you want a great life, you want the income, you want all these particular things. But after I got divorced, I felt some type of way because my family was separated, became a single father, and understand, like, was I enough? All these particular thoughts going through my head. And I understand as men, sometimes we go through things and it kind of knocks us down, and it does mess with us mentally. And you do question yourself, asking yourself, am I enough? What happened? What did I do wrong? And going through that particular process, I later figured out that, that, well, with therapy as well, I figured out that I was good enough. I am a good man. I am a good provider. I'm a good father. And it wasn't just that I was a bad husband, because in my eyes, I was a great, great husband. I'm a great man. But when you go through things like that, it makes you question yourself if you were enough to get through that marriage. But going through therapy and understanding all the facts, um, it just helped me understand, like, going forward, I can love the right way. I can give a woman what she needs mentally and financially, physically, things of that nature. So that was one lesson one L that I took, but going through the process, I understood that, going forward, that my next marriage, that I will be successful because I know that I am enough to give a woman love.
Yeah, that was deep right there. I
Definitely.
just seen, just, even in you just talking about it, I seen the passion, the emotion behind that, and it leads to a good segue. Like right now, I'm in Tennessee, about to speak on a panel about mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health is very important. A lot of times there's a stigma behind it. There's a lot of names that we call people previously when it came to mental health that was derogatory, not knowing the importance of it, not knowing the impact that the mental health can have on our lives. And so I want to say this: it's okay to get help. It's okay to talk to a professional about what's going on with you mentally, because if you don't deal with it, if you don't face it, then you can't handle it. You can't change it if you don't confront it. So definitely, I want to put that out there. Jay, you inspired me to talk about mental health because it's so important. A lot of us have shied away from it, but in more recent time, it's become more popular. It's become more accepted, and so now it's really a time where we have to really deal with our mental health. Sorry to interrupt you, Deacon Dan, but I want you to talk about experience, your L that you took, that you bounced back from, that that experience. Share with us that wisdom you got.
Well, we'll talk about. I think I learned that loss at an early age in relationship. Something I did, something I talked a little bit about too much, caused me to lose that relationship with the young lady at that particular time. But after I, went through and everything, I always like to say, a loss doesn't mean a loss. I take it as mean a lesson, and that loss taught me a lesson. And growth often, hides in disappointment. But if you think about when you have a relationship, you had that loss, how can I rebound? Well, what that loss meant to me. And you thought about it, I went through it, and I said, okay, I'll never make that mistake again. So that loss at an early age, I ain't gonna say, early, before I become a late teenager, put it like that. It taught me a great lesson, and I always teach the young men today about relationships. You know, you don't talk about your relationships with young ladies unless you're talking to the young lady or yourself.
Mm.
Mhm.
I'm talking to your boys, you know, because your boys could get jealous
Oh yeah.
and they want to talk to that same person. So, so that's why I look at it just like that. Take a loss as a lesson.
Hey, Dirk, I want to say something too. I want to add to that, and I want to make sure I put this on, for the record. I've never got cut. I went out for I went out for varsity as a freshman, and I didn't make the varsity team, so I never got cut. So I just want to make sure if anybody watching this, it was still a loss because I felt like I was like one of the best guards in the city at that time, and I felt like I could have played with the big dogs, on varsity, but I didn't make the varsity team, so I've never gotten cut. So for anybody that's watching this, especially all the people that I put this out to, because I do have a whole lot of people that watch this, just know that that's still a loss. Even if you don't make a certain plateau, that you were planning on making, and you're still there, that's still a loss.
Um, for sure. I mean, no
No,
comment
real.
on that one. Yeah, I mean, you wanted to put that out there. What I did want to say about what Deacon Dan said is he learned the lesson, so now he has blessing. The relationship that he lost compared to the relationship that he has today, he wouldn't have it if he wouldn't have learned the lesson because he probably would have made the same mistake again.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that, Deacon Dan, lost one, but you got something a whole lot better.
To God be the glory.
No, that's right. And so let's go right into the next question. I'm gonna let you lead this one off because, uh, Coach, you kind of leaned into something. In today's time, social media has such an impact on a lot of decisions. A lot of the young men are making decisions to um, for the ground, to be seen a certain type of way for the likes, for the follows, for the shares. Um, how is social media impacting what failure look like to the young men today?
Who-
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, coach.
Okay. My bad. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Um, so you want to know, about the failures, how it hits the young men in social media driven culture, right? That's the question.
Sure, sure.
Okay. I would say because of social media and the way that everyone now turns to, especially the younger generation, they're looking at all the different things that's on social media as far as, people putting out there, their successes, all the things that their lifestyle that they're living, the things that they're doing, and, the great things that, that they're doing or whatever. And if that person that's watching this, on social media doesn't feel like they're living up to the same type of lifestyle or compare themselves to what they're doing on social media, that can cause a whole lot of, you know, feeling of inadequacy, failure. They may feel like their lives are not, you know, as great as everybody else's and what they're seeing on social media. So, by watching other people's successes, their achievements, and and their lifestyles and stuff like that, that can do some damage, you know, emotional damage to people that's watching social media. So by them doing that stuff, by watching social media, and putting stuff out there on social media, that's a game changer. Social media changed the life of a whole lot of people, not just young people, but people in general, because everybody feel like they want to try to compare themselves to what's going on there. And if their lives are not as great as what they're seeing on social media, that can do some things to them. So it can definitely have, problems as far as emotional, suppression and stuff like that. So that's how I feel about, why young men is getting hit real hard, that social media, culture.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Social media has opened the eyes and also the mouths of a lot of people. A lot of people wouldn't see a lot of things that they see, and they wouldn't be speaking on certain things if it wasn't for social media. So I definitely understand the impact that social media plays on these young men's lives and how they're being perceived. Deacon Dan, I know you got 100,000 followers on Facebook and 200,000 on Instagram. So how does social media affect these young men when it comes to failure and loss?
Well, see, social media uh, i- is a saturated environment, okay? And young men experiencing stings or failure during that social media. But see, social media only will be shared part of your downfall. It won't show it all. It just show part of it. It won't show the whole game of what happened. But see, your story is still valuable, even in your rebuilding season. So social media is I think sometimes, like I said, it just don't show the whole thing. But in your rebuilding season, you get you learn some of the stuff out of that social media, uh, because it's gonna be a takeaway. It's a takeaway from some of the things that you done picked up from social media. But I just look at it like, social media, like I say, you're not gonna tell the whole thing. You're gonna get a partial. I look at when a lot of time I do social media, I used to think about when I was law enforcement and we have to, go to cyber center and stuff like that. We'd be looking at social media and, be looking at different things that been done or how they're doing it. It like I say, it's still part of the game, not all of it. So it will help you, young men. It will help the young men, that experience when they're doing their rebuilding season. That social media does, it will help them that way. I'm gonna drop it right there.
Okay. So what I heard was people are not showing their failures. And so if you're a young man who's looking at Instagram, if you're looking at Facebook, if you're looking at all these different platforms and you're not seeing other people fail, but you're experiencing failure yourself, it's kind of gets to a point where you start comparing. And I ain't gonna take too much, add too much to it, because my boy Jay, I know he gonna close out this question with some fire. So go ahead, Jay. How does social media affect these young men when it comes to failure?
Yeah, man, it's basically like, just piggybacking what they said, man. When social media, like you said, gives you everybody's highlight reel, you know what I'm saying? Um, they don't show you the healing process. Young men are scrolling through it. They're seeing, the cars, the bodies, the women, um, and it creates that unrealistic pressure to perform and arrive early. When they take a L, like you said, D, like so they're not seeing the L's. They feel like they're behind or broken because no one's posting about the dark nights. Nobody's posting about the therapy sessions. Nobody's posting about the prayer closets. Nobody's posting about the silent seasons. Failure feels heavy when it's compared, to someone else's filtered success. So that's why I try to be, as realistic as I can, with the process, the pain, the setbacks, the detours, because that's what shapes character, bro. I understand that you can go through it and you can fail forward. What I'm saying? That's what life is all about, man. We have failures. So social media paints that dynamic like, nobody's failing, but in real life, that ain't what it is. Because everybody's failing forward, to be honest with
Great response. And you said the words fail forward. So if you would, I need each of you guys to explain to me the difference between failing and failing forward. Deacon Dan, if you don't mind, start us off with the difference between failing and failing forward.
Well, to me, I think failing forward. To me, that means you learn from it and apply the lesson next time. Okay, just failing to me that means quitting or getting stuck in regrets. So that's what I differ in. But failing forward means using the fall as a fuel. You
Mm,
know, it uses it as a fuel. And I always like to say this: champions, as Coach Wilson said, champions don't avoid mistakes; they grow from them. So that's my take on that. I'm not gonna put a whole more in that, but that's what I'm gonna leave it right there.
Coach Wilburn, I don't know how you gonna follow that one, but it's on you.
Yeah, I think he done said, pretty much, you know, what failing forward is. But I my little spin on failing forward, because like I said, I've been around thousands of kids, coached thousands of kids over the years, and I always tell them, in regards to failing forward, taking personal responsibility of anything that's been happening, in your life. When you own up to a situation and stuff like that, whether it's positive or negative, you know, learn from it, you know, make sure, you try to improve on, what you learn and apply to your failures. So that way, you can, although you're failing forward, you're also, being successful going forward as well. So I think that failing forward is like really like I said from the beginning, take responsibilities for what you failed in. Um, don't worry about, okay, I failed. What are you going to do about it? I always say, you can't cry over spilled milk. Okay, this has happened. What are you going to do moving forward? Are you going to sit there and cry, or are you going to do something about it? So my thing is failing forward is like taking responsibility, do what you need to do, dust yourself, get up, and move on, learn from it, and improve on your failures.
Good word, good word. Jay Mosley, you said the fail forward, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and close out this question. What's the difference between failure and failing forward?
That's a great question. First off, failing forward means you let the failure form you instead of finish you.
Mm,
See,
Mm.
regular failure is passive. It knocks you down, and if you stay there, if you stay like it knocks you down, and you stay there stuck in shame or regret. But failing forward is active. It means you take that hit, but you also take the lesson. You grow from it. You pivot. You adjust. You learn how to move differently. Failing forward says, "Yeah, I lost, but I didn't lose the lesson." It's different between being buried and being planted. One stays dead, the other one eventually grows. So that's my definition of it.
if you don't mind, state that first statement one more time.
Failing forward means it forms you instead of finishes you.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I had to write that down. That's why I had to ask. Yeah, I might need to use that in one of my next speeches.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, so how can setbacks actually help men discover their true strengths and purpose? I'm gonna let Jay. I'm gonna let you back though and get answer that one.
Oh man, how can a setback actually help young men? Um, I'm gonna steal Dr. Wilburn's story, man.
Go ahead.
Feeling that, well, knowing, I ain't gonna say feeling because he knew he was one of the best guards in the city. You know, when he stepped on that basketball court, he had that confidence to and he knew he was him. He went into that tryout as a freshman to get a varsity spot. He didn't make that varsity spot. He didn't get. I'm pretty sure he was pissed off. I'm pretty sure he
Sure.
was away. You know, but yet and still, he didn't go cry. He didn't go to his dad like, "Oh my God, I didn't make the team." He's like, "Okay, okay, I'm gonna show you." So the same thing applies when you have a setback or have some when somebody else has a different opinion on your particular goals, on your particular dreams, or your particular um, things you want to do in life, and they say no. That just means next. And he was like, next. What's next up? What can I do to improve my game? What can I do to improve to let them know that next time they can't deny me? So understanding that when you do have a goal and something sets you back or somebody says no, it's just a pivot. It's just a lesson. Like I said, the L is a lesson. It taught him what to do. It taught him to go harder. And that's what failing does. It teaches how to go harder, gives you a game plan, gives you a strategy to be like, okay, they ain't gonna be able to deny me next time because I seen what this cat doing or I seen what this cat doing. So next time, yeah, when I step on that court, they're gonna have to see me. So I just think that learning from a failure, it just like I said, it's just a lesson, and it just teaches you how to go to the next level. It does something to you mentally, bro. Like it just makes you want to go harder. Like they like you step on that court, you just like you say, I know
Yeah,
they can't get with me. So
and
Yeah.
it's really about how you approach it. It's your mindset. It's your perspective.
Absolutely.
Because we all know, even when we go through them hard times, we either gonna get a breakthrough or we gonna break down.
Say that again. That's a bar.
Yeah.
Either we gonna break through or we gonna break down. And so it's really about how you look at it. Some people can look at this, can't face the same situation, but somebody might break down, the other one might get their breakthrough by going through. And only to get your breakthrough, you have to go through it. And so, Coach Wilburn, how
Yeah.
does failure, setbacks, um, how can that lead an individual, a young man that's watching, a mother that's watching, how can that lead them to finding out that young man's purpose?
Okay. I think that, how setbacks can help young men discover their strengths and purposes. I think that it will help them embrace change. That's one thing, learn to accept, that it's going to be inevitable that you may have failure or a setback in your life. But it also teaches them to embrace the change. And what I mean by that, to accept that, that it's going to be inevitable, that you may fail, and it'll help the young men that they can navigate future challenges along the way, that it can deepen their self-awareness, and make sure they see things in a different light, as far as self-reflection. But I would say, mainly that it would deepen, self-awareness of, their setbacks or whatever, and help them to embrace change and to know that it's okay. Don't feel like because you failed in one thing that you may fail in everything. That's not going to happen that way. You'll find your niche. Whatever it is that you failed in, if you keep trying, like I said before, I don't like to keep saying the same thing over and over. Dust yourself off, get up, and do something about it. But just know that, that failure is inevitable. Everybody done failed in something in their life. If you got somebody out here that never failed in anything, I want to know who they are. I want to know who they are because everybody has failed at something in their life. But the difference between a failure and not being successful is a person that does nothing about it.
Hmm.
That's how I feel about it.
Good word, good word. Deacon Dan, how can a setback, how can failure, how can those tough situations help direct a young man to his strengths and even hopefully even to his purpose?
Well, I look at it like this: setbacks, they test your limits. You ever been in some you got a setback. Okay, this ain't gonna stop me. So it tested my limits. So I move forward. Where do I go from here? But they also reveals your potential. Okay, so I got a setback, but I got I got another potential. And then I look at it this way: sometimes your purpose is found when your plans fail.
Hmm.
So if your plan fail, you don't you're gonna get your strength, and your purpose gonna be found when when your plan fail. That's why you look back at it and say, like, these setbacks didn't test my limits, but they reveal my potentials. So they reveal my potentials, so my purpose, you know, I found my purpose when my plan failed. And that's how I look at it.
And
Can
just,
I add to that, D?
huh?
Can I add to that what he just said?
The floor is open.
Okay, man. Well, because we say your purpose begins when your plan. Sometimes you find your purpose when your plans fail. Oh, I just have a saying that pain produces purpose. Like sometimes when you go through something, that pain that you go through, that heartache, that adversity, that letdown, it pulvers you into your purpose. That hurt, like it really, really does. Like you said, you stated that mindset. When you go through something, that pain, it just makes you not want to go through it again. So you get in the mindset, I'm gonna do everything in my power not to go through that hurt once again. So that was powerful, Deacon Dan. It just made me think of that pain produces purpose.
And just listening to all three of you guys, there was something that really stuck out to me. In our failures, how does it introduce us to our strengths? It introduces us to our strengths because it amplifies our weaknesses. It makes us acknowledges our weakness. How do we get stronger? By working on where we're weak at. Deacon Dan had a situation where he said he'll never do it again. He'll never make that mistake again. He acknowledged where he was weak at, so that's where he got strong at. When we strengthen our weaknesses, that makes us a whole lot more effective. So if it was like that's the biggest thing I got from that question, like um, we get better in those setbacks because it really helps us acknowledge our weaknesses. And that is where we start working on. And when we strengthen those weaknesses, we become better people. Does anybody have something that really just they feel like just on their heart that they really just want to put out there? I want this to be one of those heartfelt, real conversations where because I know we all have experienced it. We all have things that we've been through. We all face failure. And to some degree, hey, we've all seen success. What is one of those key things? What has been instrumental in your situation? May it be forgiveness, may it be overcoming self-doubt. Either one of y'all really just really want to pour out, give us something that off script, just truly from your heart that you want to share. Either one of you guys?
I just look at what on that fail, what hidden strength, that hidden strength came out when you had to start over. For some reason, you got to start over. You're gonna have a different strength than when you first started, and I think that's one of the things that failure does. It give you that push. Uh, because sometimes some things don't work out, but they give you that extra push.
Deacon Dan, you know what I hear that you keep saying?
What's that?
God will derail your plan to direct your purpose.
Yeah,
God will derail your plan to direct his purpose.
true. You will.
Because you
So
might have it planned out what you think you want to do, what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. But guess what? That's not what you plan to do. That's not what you purpose here for. That's not what you were placed here for. And sometimes those plans, yeah, we feel hurt, we feel disappointed because what we wanted to happen does not happen. But a lot of times that's the perfect thing for us. A lot of times we get in our feelings, we get down, we get in our emotions when our plans don't work. But instead of being disappointed, we got to know that that's true direction from a higher power. So, um, Deacon
As they
Daniel,
say, God closed, one door may close, but God will open up another for you. So, I really believe in that as well, in the spiritual sense that, everything that you feel that you may think that's for you may not be for you, and something else better may come along. So never give up on whatever you're doing, and just know that it's always a light at the end of that tunnel. So that's how I feel about it, because I've been through a lot, not just what I've done when I was in high school, but as a adult. I've been wanting different things to happen for me, and it has not happened. But in the same sense, I have not given up, and I'm still trying to press forward with what I'm trying to do. And I feel like the more that I put into it, and not let the feeling of okay failure derail me. I just keep at it, and I feel like it's going to happen for me. So never give up on what you're doing. You may have something else that may come along or whatever, but don't feel like because you failed at something that's the end of the world, because it's not. You know, you're going to be okay. You're going to be all right. Just know that.
Jay, you got something?
Yeah, man. I just want to pick it back off what you just said, man. Like understand it's often said that when you if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. That's what I mean. That's what we've heard all of, for the majority of life. If you really want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So yeah, just to give it something off the cuff, man. What I had to personally understand was getting rid of self doubt, bro. That whole imposter syndrome thing is real. A lot of people feel like they shouldn't have what they have, or they shouldn't be what they're striving to be, because they feel like they don't belong, or feel um, like they're not deserving. But understanding, like, this life that you're living, he came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. So understand that you are enough. Understand that everything that you have is within you. Understand that you are destined for greatness. And us four gentlemen on here are just, we are living examples of that, man, because we're living our lives in a way that now we're living our lives now in a way that we understand that we're purpose for more, and we understand that we do belong. So that's all I want to say.
I like what Jay said, but I'm gonna hit you on Proverbs 16.
Okay.
It said we make our plans, but we got to ask God to bless them. That's exactly what Jay is basically saying. You make them plans, but you got to ask God to bless those plans.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, most definitely.
Okay, I'm back.
Thank you.
Had a little technical difficulty. So,
It,
uh,
hap- it happens.
oh yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's one of those setbacks that we got to continue to move forward in. It's right on time. It's right on topic, and so we just got to exemplify what we talking about, and let's just keep moving forward. So, Coach Wilburn, we had a really deep conversation. We really dug deep, and leave the audience with some final thoughts, if you would. Just kind of pour into us with your final thoughts as we get ready to close this conversation.
All right, my final thoughts, especially on this subject here. Um, it's a very important subject that we discussed today. And for all the single moms, single dads, and young men, young women, who's ever looking at this, just know that you're here for a purpose. You do have a purpose in life. And in life, there's going to be setbacks. And just know that those setbacks are not forever. Okay. You're going to have roadblocks. And no matter what situation or what you're trying to do in life, but just know that, you know, you can overcome them. You know, you should and you must overcome and adapt and move on, because whatever you're facing, adversity or whatever you're facing, um, you can get through it and you will get through it. Just know that there's, like I said before, there's always a light at the end of that tunnel, and never give up on what you're doing. And just know, you know, what you see on social media is like what all these gentlemen have said today. They don't show everything. They show some things, but they don't show everything. Excuse me. Everybody's not living as great as is or they're portraying to be. Maybe some, but not all. And just know, don't try to compare yourself to what's going on to social media. You know, compare yourself to yourself. Look in the mirror and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is me. And if you need help, get help. Do not feel like it's a burden or weight on your shoulder to ask for help. You know, it's always going to be somebody that's going to be there to help you, but don't be ashamed to ask for help, you know, and you'll get through it and you will make it. So just know that, you know, social media to me, it's like a fashion show. Everybody's want to show what they're doing in the whole 9 yards. If you ever been to a fashion show, you'll see that everybody want to put themselves out there. And if you want to be in that fashion show, you know, what you do is just make sure you overcome all the things that you have to overcome, the failures, the setbacks, and the whole 9 yards. And if you want to get into that fashion show, get into that fashion show. That's what I have to say about this.
Yes, sir. You really touched on a few different topics, but what I heard was don't compare yourself to people, but to your own potential. Don't compare yourself to other people, but to your own potential. Deacon Dan, if you would give us some of your closing thoughts, like your summary. We talked on a few things. Just really close us out with, I know you're gonna bring the heat that you always do. I know I put Jay in a bad spot coming behind you, but go ahead and bring us that heat.
Well, I'm gonna put a twist on what you just said. I'm just gonna phrase it differently. Comparison kills confidence.
Mm,
Wow.
Comparison kills confidence, but focus on your own growth,
mm.
not on someone else's timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like I look at this, you're not finished. A setback is not the same as a full stop. It's just a comma, in your story. And I just say all I had to do is tell you, advise you, keep going. Okay? But I'm gonna bring this book now. This book by Coach Deborah B. Smith, Build Your Best Life, is a great book. Great reading material. It talks about setbacks. So you get this book and read it. It'll help you. But these guys have some great subjects. It's been a great subject this morning. And I don't know what it is, but God has blessed this second Saturdays that we've been on, and we've had some great conversations. So what I like to say, just get this book, Coach Deborah D. book, Build Your Best Life. It's one of the greatest books on the shelf. I don't see why it hadn't made that million sale, but it's there.
Right.
My bad, Jay. I didn't mean to put you behind the heat like that, man.
How'd I go behind that, bro? Like that's a mic
So,
drop, bro.
I always talk about the Build Your Best Life book. As a real husband, you beat me to the point, Deacon Dan, and you also brought the heat. But Jay Mosley, I know you got something in your repertoire. It might not be Deacon Dan,
You
because I
know?
really, I really think Deacon Dan be getting his quotes out of that Build Your Best Life book anyway. He ain't giving credit to where it's supposed to be going. But Jay, go ahead and give us your closing thoughts. I'll make sure you talk about mental health in your closing thoughts, please, sir.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. First off, man, thank you guys for allowing me to be on this platform with you. I've really enjoyed it. So thank you, Kings, for allowing me to share the platform with you greats, man, standing on the shoulders of giants on this conversation. Appreciate you, D. I want to say this, man, since we're talking about failing forward. I just let people know that are think that they're failing. Just let them know that you're not done. You're just in a developing chapter. What you're going through, it ain't the end of your story. It's just a plot. The plot twist is this was developing your character. So you're allowed to feel hurt. You're allowed to have a moment, but don't unpack there. You can't stop there. Don't let a bad chapter convince you've got a bad book. That ain't what that is. Sometimes your worst season is just preparing you for the best assignment.
Hmm.
So I encourage you to find your tribe, get around like-minded people. Um, and we have a coach on the platform with us now. So I highly suggest you get a coach in your life. Get a therapist. Find therapy. Talk to somebody if you're going through something. Start small if you have to, but you got to move. Understand healing is the movement that you're not broken. You're just being built. So with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much, man. This has been a amazing, amazing, amazing subject we talked about today. Failing forward, just understanding that loss is just a lesson. That's it. Just a lesson in your chapter of this thing called life.
Yes, sir, man. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys, Coach Deborah Smith, for this platform and how she's reaching so many different lives through everything that she does. After hearing you guys, I don't need this. That was a mic drop from all of y'all. I don't need that no more. always a pleasure, man, to connect with you guys, man. The guys that are here, Coach Ricardo and Levette, and you guys always bring something, man. Y'all always have tools and y'all tool belts to share. And I'm pretty sure the audience really love and appreciate it. So thank the audience for their time and attention. Again, thank Coach Deborah. Uh, Shout out to all of the Build Your Best Life family, from Maria, who was in the chat, to Coach, who was in the chat. All you guys, man, just y'all time, just y'all giving us that attention, man, inspires us to keep going. So with that, this has been the August episode of Conversation with the Guys. Um, Till next month, same time, same place. Uh, be careful out there and enjoy your life. Build your best life, as the book says.
Yes, sir.
Yep.